Joan Laporta has been re-elected as Barcelona president in a landslide. This is a landslide victory for Joan Laporta. So Barcelona presidential elections took place yesterday. That was 15th of March 2026. So it was a contest, a fierce contest between Victor Font and then Joan Laporta. But Joan Laporta was always going to be the favorite because when you look at where he took the club financially and he was able to maneuver their ways into their financial crisis and won them two La Liga titles and then send them to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League for the first time in over years. It's a remarkable job done by Joan Laporta. Now, let's read this. Joan Laporta has been re-elected as Barcelona president for the next 5 years after beating Victor Font in Sunday's election. Laporta breezed to victory in the end, obtaining 32,934 of the 48,480 votes from the club's members, that is the associates, while Font received 14,385 votes. 984 were left blank, and then 177 were declared void. Now, the total number of vote cast represented a turnout of 42.34%. Barca said with 114,504 members eligible to take part in the election. Now, current and former presidents, coaches, and players were among those to cast their ballot at Spotify company, including Hansi Flick and members of the men's first team squad. Sunday's election coincided with Barca's 5-2 win over Sevilla in La Liga, with coach Flick and many players, including Rafinha, Pedri, and Dani Olmo, submitting their votes after the victory. Now, I won't tell you I will vote for because it is a secret. That is what Flick said in a news conference shortly before voting. It is a special day. I saw it on television in my office in the stadium. The election was going on. It is special. I think also everyone is happy. It was a great day. We all know you voted for Joan Laporta. We all know. Earlier, goalkeeper Marc-Andre Ter Stegen had a very difficult, who is currently at loan to Girona, has suffered an embarrassing moment when he was unable to vote because his name was not on the electoral register. Now, all Barca players are made members when they join the club. Once you join the club, you become a member of the club, but it is their responsibility to update their membership, which the German international had not done ahead of the election. That is so bad. Once you are a member of the club and it's expired, the time limit expired, it is your duty to update your membership. It is done everywhere, whereby you update your membership. So if you don't update your membership before the election, how would you be expected to vote? So for me, when I saw the video, I thought maybe it was a blackmail. It was like they are treating him very poor, maybe because he's having problem with Joan Laporta. Now, injured Barca feminine players Aitana Bomati and Leila Alexandri also voted, although the majority of their teammates could not as they played away at Deportivo de la Corona on Sunday. Now, former Barca coach Xavi Hernandez also voted. We all know this guy will vote for Victor Font. Just days after calling Laporta a liar for his role in Lionel Messi's failed return to the club in 2023, as did ex-Inter Miami midfielder Sergio Busquets. Now, Spotify Camp Nou was one of the five polling stations set up on the day, with members also able to vote in Tarragona, Girona, Lleida, and then Andorra. The result is a report of 2021, when Laporta also beat Font convincingly to succeed Josep Maria Bartomeu as Barca president. That signaled the start of Laporta's second spell at the head of the club. He was previously president between 2003 and 2010, overseeing the appointment of Pep Guardiola and the club's first treble in 2009, before returning to the post 11 years later. Since his return, Barca have won two La Liga titles, while the women's team have won three Champions Leagues, but it is the success the men's team have had under Flick which provided the cornerstone to his campaign. Flick led Barca to a domestic treble last season, La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Spanish Supercopa, and the first Champions League semi-final since 2019, while they remain well placed in both La Liga and the Champions League again this term. In the meantime, Laporta has taken on a rebuild of the Spotify company, with the first two tiers of the revamped stadium completely operational for the first time against Sevilla on Sunday, increasing the capacity to over 60,000 as work continues on the third tier. Font had hoped to sway members to vote for him by claiming the club's financial situation has not improved under Laporta, who says that it has. that the return to Spotify Camp Nou has been repeatedly delayed, and because of the way the president dealt with Messi's exit. So that is it for that particular election. Now, when you look at Laporte's re-election, I think he's deserved to be re-elected. You look at where he took the club, and you look at his previous tracks, his past tracks, and then the relationship Laporta has with the current Barcelona group of players. There's no way Victor Font will beat Laporta. Victor Font had no chance. He thought of using Lionel Messi's name to sort of get some kind of vote from voters, but it was just not working. One thing I was not happy about during the election was seeing Joan Laporta around the voting centers talking to players before the vote. It was not just acceptable for me as an election, democratic election. You are not supposed to be seen around that enclave where they are voted, especially seeing you talk to voters before they even vote. For me, that's what I just didn't like. But apart from that, Laporta has done really, really well to deserve a re-election. And you can see that it has translated in the voting. Landslide voting. The margin was too huge for Victor Font to even cover. So congratulations to Joan Laporta for his second term or third term as a Barcelona president. Let me know your actions as a Barcelona fan. What is your thought on the re-election of Joan Laporta as a Barcelona president for the next 5 years? Drop your comments in the comment section.